say?
She said she wants people to vote for Democrats. And not Marsha Blackburn, especially.
You know, well, Marsha Blackburn is doing a very good job in Tennessee. She's leading now substantially, which she should. She's a tremendous woman. I'm sure Taylor Swift has nothing or doesn't know anything about her. And let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay? Thank you.
I thought Taylor Swift had a place in Rhode Island. Didn't she buy it to be close to...
I'm sure she has a few places, just like you, Howie.
Yeah, but all these people, first last week I found out Susan Rice is from Maine. Now I find out Taylor Swift is from Tennessee. Well, wonders never cease. All right. Now that Brett Kavanaugh has been confirmed, it's time to get back to other pressing business, which includes, first and foremost in my mind, exposing the Russian collusion hoax for what it is. And as you probably know, the way the FBI and the Justice Department crooks got their tentacles into the Trump campaign to try to prove this crime that didn't occur was to get a warrant to surveil a guy named Carter Page, who was a volunteer for the Trump campaign in 2016. And now it has turned out. Well, let me introduce him first. Carter Page. How you doing, Carter?
I'm doing great, Howie. Great to be back with you.
Hey, listen, you got to be pretty damn happy right about now, don't you?
I'm extremely happy, Howie. Although I'm afraid you're going to have to write a sequel to your book about what really happened and how Donald J. Trump saved America from some people, because it's only going to get more and more exciting as the truth that you're alluding to keeps coming out.
Well, in case people were tied up last week following the Brett Kavanaugh soap opera, there was another big incident on Capitol Hill. The former FBI chief lawyer, James Baker, came in and testified behind closed doors that he had actually gotten the information that was used in the warrant against to surveil this guy I'm talking to, Carter Page. He got it from a Democrat lawyer in the employ of Hillary Clinton and the DNC. And this was the guy Sussman. He's basically a deep state or a swamp creature who works for Perkins Coie, one of the Democrat fixer law firms inside the Beltway. And he got the information from Michael Sussman about the dossier, which is all totally fictitious, and that's what they used. I mean, you know, Joe DeGenev always says you've got a slam dunk case for damages against all these people, Carter. What's the latest on that?
Well, the pieces are coming together, Howie, and hopefully I'll have more to say on that quite soon. Although along the lines of what you're referring to, that DNC lawyer for Perkins Coie, I was reading Donna Brazil's little clips of that over the weekend, and I found a nice quote where it says they talk about a meeting in the FBI headquarters, right? And you have the Perkins Coie lawyer, Michael Sussman. When he arrives, he took out his security clearance badge, likely left over from his time at the Department of Justice. I was impressed. Jesus. So can you imagine, I mean, you know, kind of whipping out badges like you're, you know, some legit law enforcement person, you know, going into a federal building, I mean, to impress your client. We're just scratching the surface here, Howie. I think your next book is going to be, you know, some sequel. It's only going to get better as time goes on.
I think you better get yourself an agent too. If you need a ghostwriter, I'm available. I just finished doing my newest book, Kennedy Babylon. I'm available, Carter. So let's chop around a proposal here. You know, it's
funny. When I was just listening to your intro, Howie, it reminded me of Johnny Carson and kind of just bringing so many things to life. So it's always great to be back with you, and you got a great voice. So
how about the fact, Carter, that and Devin Nunes, he wrote this great report last spring. He's the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and he laid all this out, and it's now, you know, it's famous in our circles footnote 43 on page 57 of his report, and he just laid it out that, you know, from his investigations that all of the information that the FBI used came from a Democrat dirty tricks operation. And when he gave his report to the deep state, they redacted all that information as if it were some kind of national security, that the FBI had been involved in a massive Watergate-style dirty tricks operation with the Democrat Party. They redacted all that information, and Devin Nunes couldn't release it until the crooked lawyer for the FBI, James Baker, copped to it last week. Isn't it amazing?
Well, they're really looking for some more topsoil to cover up this massive scandal, which is just starting to come to the light here. So I think it's only going to get better with time. So
have you talked
just beginning?
Have you talked to George Papadopoulos?
I haven't spoke with him for several years. No, we haven't. You know, it's funny. I mean, part of you talk about First Amendment rights. You know, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. You know, part of the First Amendment is freedom of peaceful assembly, right? Getting together and talking with people. And, you know, when the election interference came about by what the DNC did in collusion with the deep state, I had to take a step aside and, you know, say goodbye to all of my colleagues. So, you know, the freedom of peaceable assembly did not come to fruition there, and I've been in touch with any of those guys for many years.
How about your Fourth Amendment rights, Carter? You know, against the unreasonable search. I mean, getting a warrant based on fraudulent, false testimony and then lying to the court about where it came from, I would say that's a pretty big violation of your Fourth Amendment rights.
Oh, you can go down a very long list within the U.S. Constitution, Howie, but, you know, the biggest violations I'm most concerned about is all the damage that this has done to President Trump and all of his supporters. You know, although I haven't met with, you know, 99% of all the people I got to know when I was you know, a junior volunteer on the campaign. You know, I was in touch with some people via email and phone conversations after I left the campaign in September 2016, and you know, all their communications. Similarly, they were completely violated with the hacking and the wiretapping that was illegally done by the Democrats and their operatives that were burrowed into the government.
Trump flew down to Orlando today with Rosenstein. You know that they went to the police conference where he spoke, and Trump just told reporters at the White House that he had a good conversation with Rosenstein. What do you think Trump should do with Rosenstein, considering he signed the fourth FISA warrant application, long after they knew that this was just totally bogus and just a Democrat dirty trick?
Howie, you know, my biggest concern with the U.S. Department of Justice right now is the fact that they had so many. Not only did they have the false filings in the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, you know, the FISA court, but they also, you know, I have a pending case in the U.S. Second Circuit Court in Lower Manhattan, which is on appeal from the Southern District of New York. And, you know, when you sue the U.S. government, Department of Justice is the representative for any federal agency.
Right.
And there were so many false pleadings by DOJ, you know, the U.S. Attorney for Southern District of New York, several U.S. attorneys that have, you know, one after another keep filing these false pleadings. So I think, you know, there are very big problems right there. So I think there's a lot to be fixed. So
I'm sure you've been.
You know,
I'm sure you've been following the case with Christine Ford and Brett Kavanaugh last week, and then it turns out that Christine Ford's best friend is a former FBI lawyer who worked for the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Manhattan in New York, that of course was a guy who used to work for Schumer, and then she hires. Then the FBI agent who gets busted for basically witness tampering in the Brett Kavanaugh case, she hires as her lawyer another DOJ lawyer who helped broom the Hillary Clinton espionage case in 2016. Do you think this is all the same gang of people, that the people who went after you, who now have gone after Brett Kavanaugh? Is this the same group?
Well, all I know is just watching this incredible, great scholar of the law and practitioner of the law, now Justice Kavanaugh. You know, everything he went through is like deja vu all over again. You know, it's the exact same tactics with, you know, several of the same people. I mean, even Senator Feinstein, she spent a lot of time coming after me, going back throughout much of 2017. You know, as a member of the both the Senate Intelligence Committee and you know the crimes that happened there, as well as Senate Judiciary, and from which she
had a Chinese spy working for her for 20 years.
It's amazing.
What do you
like I said, there's a lot of great books and great movies that are eventually going to be coming out here, Howie. So, are
you going to be a hero? You going to be the hero?
Yeah, I think President Trump is the hero. You know, I'm just someone. Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch says it best. You know, they weren't coming after me. They're just doing it as a way to go after the president. So I keep things in perspective.
Who do you want to see in jail? Give me a short list.
You know, Howie, to me, the biggest thing that needs to be fixed is all of the obstruction to President Trump's policies. And again, we talked about the great things he's doing to fix our court system in terms of his appointment, not only the Supreme Court, but also the circuit courts and federal courts across the country. Similarly, the biggest thing that I'm most focused on is fixing the obstruction to his foreign policy. You know, all of the negative repercussions that came out of this whole fiasco has just been such an obstacle to so many of the great policies he's been looking to implement. So to me, that's the top of my list, and that's where I'm placing most of my focus and attention and hoping to get fixed as soon as possible. I think these other people, you know,
wouldn't you like to see some of these people in jail? They tried to put you away, Carter. I mean, come on, it's human nature wants revenge.
Well, you know, I think the best revenge, Howie, is all of these, they're going to be extremely embarrassed. You know, you look at the failed policies that they were looking to implement, and again, I go back to the title of your book. Right?
Out of time, but I want 15 seconds. If you could say anything to Rod Rosenstein tonight, what would it be?
It would be, please talk to your U.S. attorney and his team in the Southern District of New York and fix the false court pleadings which they've done on my civil case there. So very, very similar to the false pleadings that were unfortunately signed off on in the FISA court. You know, I think this is there's a lot needs to be fixed.
Hey, Carter Page, always a pleasure, and hope to speak to you again soon. And congratulations. It's moving. It's moved slowly, but it's finally moving in your direction. Thank you, Carter. We appreciate it. I'm Howie Carr.